Struggling to visualize uncertainty or forecast trends in Excel? A fan chart is the perfect solution. In this video, I'll show you a quick and easy way to create one from scratch. No advanced skills needed. Stick around and let's transform your data into powerful insights. Let's go! A fan chart or uncertainty chart is a way to display historical data and predict future values. For example, they are often used to indicate inflation or exchange rate predictions, but can display any data with an uncertain future value. Say you're a financial analyst working for a multi-asset brokerage company. One of your tasks is to show how you expect stocks to evolve over the next 5 years. You've looked at the historical count and assessed 3 scenarios: the base case, the best case, and the worst case. One way to present your analysis is through a fan chart, as shown here. So, how can we create a fan chart in Excel? They look similar to line charts, but the future values fan out to represent possible future values. The data layout is one of the most critical factors for creating a fan chart. If we get this part wrong, the chart will not look how expected. So let's take a bit of time to understand it. As a financial analyst, your brokerage company instructed you to calculate the future forecast for the stock of Johnson Company. In column B, I have the years from 2010 to 2026. The forecast time horizon is extended until the year 2026. After research as an analyst, I offer recommendations for the Johnson for the next 6 years. So I have the stock prices from the years 2010 to 2020, and I want to predict 3 stock price scenarios from 2021 to 2026. So I have the base case column, the best case column, and the worst case column. I will create a fan graph to illustrate the future stock prices within this space. First off, let's highlight the range from C3 to F20. Then, from the Insert tab, click the Insert Line button and select a simple line chart. Move it somewhere there. Notice that there is a gap between the historical and forecast values. It would be best to fill the gap between the historical count and the forecast by linking cells D15, E15, and F15 to cell C15. How to do that? First type 175 in cell C15. Then go to D15 and type equal C15. Enter. Do the same with cells E15 and F15. The gap is filled nicely, and we have created a seamless transition between historical data and projections. Let's explain why. By setting D15, E15, and F15 equal to C15, the forecast begins at the last known historical value, maintaining logical consistency. Excel charts can behave unpredictably if there's missing values between actual and forecasted data. Filling the gap ensures a continuous line. Now, right-click the chart and click Select Data on the shortcut menu. Click the Edit button under the horizontal category axis label in the Select Data Source dialog box. In the Axis Label dialog box, edit the axis label range to include cells B4 to B20. Let's go ahead and highlight these cells. Click the OK button twice in a row to close the axis label and select Data Source dialog boxes. Next up, let's do some formatting by deleting the chart title and the legend. Now it's up to you if you want to change the chart font, color, and size. I usually delete the grid lines of a chart, but they are helpful in this type of a case. So I will only change the style of the grid lines to a line dash. So right-click Format Grid Line and change the dash type to a dash from the major grid line options. That looks good. I will also turn off the border of the chart area from the Format Chart area by setting the border to No Line. The next step is to change the color and the dash type of the line series. I'll change the color of the upper line to green and the dash type to a dash. Let's change the width a bit to 2.5. Next, I'll change the color of the middle line to blue and the dash type to a dash. Finally, I'll change the color of the lower line to red and the dash type to a dash. The next step is to create shading between the three scenario curves in the fan chart. The shading between the three scenario curves in the fan chart is creating a visually represented uncertainty and variability in the forecast. The trick is to creating the shading between the three scenario curves is to decompose the time series into three components. The minimum of the three curves, the difference between the base case and the worst case, and the difference between the best and the base case. Alright, let's add headers to the newly created columns. To get the minimum curve, add the following formula into cell G4. Equal min D4 to F4 cells. To get the lower shading, add the following formula to cell H4. Equal D4 minus F4. To get the higher shading, add the following formula into cell I4. Equal E4 minus D4. We want to copy these formulas and paste them into cells. So we're going to select the range from G4 to I4 and press Ctrl plus C to copy the formulas into the clipboard. Then select the range from G4 to I20 and press Ctrl plus V to paste the formulas. So there you go. Great! It's time to add the shading effect into the fan chart. Let's select the range from G3 to I20. Press Ctrl C to copy the data into the clipboard. Next, select the chart and press Ctrl V to paste the data series. Copying this data and pasting it into the chart adds it as a new series, which will later be formulated into the shaded areas. Initially, Excel treats the new data as line series, but we will change it to stacked area charts to create the shading effect. This shading visually fills the space between the forecast lines, making uncertainty easier to interpret. Right-click and then on the shortcut menu, click Change Chart Type. In the Change Chart Type dialog box, select Combo under the All Charts tab. Next, under the Choose Chart Type and Axis for your data series, set the chart type to Line for historical, base case, best case, and worst case data series. Also change to stacked area for the minimum, low, and high data series. By changing the chart type of these new data series to stacked area charts, we convert them into filled shading that represents the uncertainty range. Press the OK button to close the Change Chart Type dialog box. These steps in the fan chart creation process are essential for properly formatting the shading effect and ensuring the chart clearly conveys uncertainty. Now right-click the vertical value axis and then on the shortcut menu, click Format Axis. In the Format Axis pane with Axis option selected, under Bounds, set the minimum to 40. By adjusting the axis bounds, we limit the range and we make the minimum data series almost invisible. In the chart, select the minimum data series. Now, set its shape fill to no fill. Also remove the border of the high point series. Nice! The next step is to change the shape fill color of the low and high data series and set their transparencies to 75%. The low and high series represent lower and upper values within a data range. By setting the transparency to 75%, you make these series partially transparent, allowing background elements of the chart to show through. I'll change the color of the upper or high series to green, transparency to 75%. Similar for the low series, choose a red color for this. Now, to add gray shading for the historical part of the chart, you need to input new data in column J. Let's do it. Click on cell J3 and type historical shade. Fill the cells from J4 to J15 with 1. The 1 in those cells ensures that the data is included in the chart and can be formatted accordingly. Example, gray shading, differentiating it from future data or projections. This data will represent the historical range, and when added to your chart, it will be highlighted with gray shading to distinguish it visually from the forecasted data. This shading visually separates the past data from the future projections, improving clarity in the chart. Select the range J3 to I20. Press Ctrl+C to copy the data to the clipboard. Next, select the chart and press Ctrl+V to paste the data series. Note that you'll not notice any change on the chart because the added series values are very small compared to the other data series. Right-click the chart and then, on the shortcut menu, click Change Chart Type. Next, under the combo charts, set the chart type to area for the Hist Shade Data series and turn on the secondary axis. Press the OK button to close the Change Chart Type dialog box. The chart should look like this. Right-click the secondary vertical value axis and then on the shortcut menu, click Format Axis. In the Format Axis pane, with Axis options selected under Bounds, set the maximum to 1. Turn off the axis labels by setting the labels position under Labels to None. Next, change the fill shape color of the historical shade data series to a light gray and set its transparency to 75%. The next step is crucial and a bit tricky. We want to calculate the compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, for the different data series. CAGR is used to measure the mean annual growth rate of an investment or data over time. To calculate CAGR for each representative series, we will use the formula. N value is divided by smart value, and then raises the result to the power of 1 divided to number of years. Finally, subtracting 1 gives the average annual growth rate over that period. To add the data labels to the chart, add the following formulas in the representative cells to calculate the CAGR. Cell C21 equal parenthesis C15 divided by C4 close parentheses. C15 is the final value and C4 is the initial value. Then raises the result to the power of 1 dividing by 11, which represents the number of years. Subtracting 1 gives the average annual growth rate over that period. In simple terms, it tells you the constant annual growth rate needed to go from the initial value to the final value over 11 years. Enter. The formula uses 11 years instead of 12 because at the start of year C4, that is included, and you're measuring the growth from the end of the first year to the end of the last year. The formula calculates the growth rate over the number of years between the two data points, excluding the starting point year. For cell D21, equal parentheses D20 divided by D15 close parentheses. D20 is the final value and D15 is the initial value. Then raises the result to the power of 1 dividing by 5, which represents the number of years. Subtracting 1 gives the average annual growth rate over that period. Enter. Do the same for cells E21 and F21. The next is to add the following formulas in the representative cells to combine the series name with the CAGR values. This is a tricky step, but it becomes useful because it formats the chart labels to clearly display both the series name and the corresponding CAGR value. This helps viewers quickly understand the growth rate of each data series directly on the chart, enhancing clarity and improving the presentation of the chart's insights. So, click on cell G23 and type equal C3 ampersand double quotes parenthesis double quotes ampersand text function parentheses C21 and then type this to add the compound annual growth rate. The formula combines the series name from C3 with the CAGR value from C21. It does this by taking the series name from C3, adding the CAGR value, formatted as a percentage with 1 decimal point, appending CAGR to indicate the growth rate. This creates a label that shows both the series name and its growth rate, formatted neatly for use in this chart. Let's also fill in the cells for C24, C25, and C26. By using a line break via character 13, the information is neatly separated, making it easier to read. In the chart, select the best case data series. Next, click on the last data point to select it. Right-click the selected data point, and on the shortcut menu, click Add Data Label. Select the added data label, and then in the formula bar, type the equal sign followed by a mouse click on cell C25. Press the Enter key on the keyboard. Repeat the above steps for the best case and the worst case data series by linking to cell C24 and cell C26 respectively. Alright, now let's add a text box shape and link it to cell C23. Add another text box shape and edit it to display forecasted. Change the color of each data label to match the color of the respective line. I'll choose a gray color. Make them bold and left align. Resize the plot areas so that the labels do not overlap with the lines. Right-click the horizontal category axis and then on the shortcut menu click Format Axis. In the Format Axis pane with Axis option selected, set the axis position to On Tick Marks. Next, under tick marks, set the major type and minor type to outside. You can adjust the labels if you want and change the font color to match with the 3 lines. Good stuff. And that's how you create a fan chart in Excel to display different forecast scenarios. It's a great way to visualize uncertainty and make your data more understandable. If you find this guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Excel tips and tricks. If you are ready to take your Excel skills to the next level, check out my Excel Dashboard and Data Analysis Masterclass course. In this 20-hour course, you'll learn how to master Excel dashboards and charts, from basic bar and line charts to advanced visualizations, and designing 7 dashboards from scratch that will make your data come to life. Whether you're creating reports for work or analyzing data for fun, these skills will help you communicate your insights more effectively. Let's dive in and unlock the full potential of Excel dashboards and charts. Click the link below to get started. Thanks for watching, and happy charting!